Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Insights with Latrese. Yes, real talk, real you, real good. How are you today? I hope it's fantastic where you're at. It's good here. I can't complain, even through this whole crisis, right? Again, I'm telling you, I have a great topic. It's called being organized in COVID-19. Phew, we're going to talk about it. But before we get into any of that, I want to make sure you're following me on all the social media platforms. So go to my handle, Treese Kabuya. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Gram, I'm on Twitter. And then if you're like, listen, I'm just going to listen to you, Latrice, my podcast is on Spotify, Google, and Apple. So please follow me. I promise you, you're going to laugh, you're going to be informed, and all the things in between. So let's get back to the topic at hand. So as I was thinking about this topic, because you're seeing the little memes that say, check on my extroverted friends. But I really need to make a meme saying, check on my organized friends, because this is not working for them. I've talked to several of my girlfriends and they are having some challenges because their life has always been structured, organized, boundary. And we're in a situation where it can't necessarily be exactly like that. It's a new normal. It's not our old normal. And so we're having to make adjustments. So I thought about, man, who is someone that can bring that expert advice and information? And I had the privilege of interviewing this young lady when I was co-hosting, filling in at a local TV show here in Kansas City. And when I tell you, every time I interviewed this woman, I left like with a wow, like, how is she so creative and innovative when it comes to organization? Because I pride myself in being organized and being creative with the little things. But what did it for me, and she had me at, you can throw pictures away. Because I had so many pictures and I thought, you could not even throw the little small ones away. And so when she set me free, I was like, you're my friend for life. So I have Helen Austen here today. She's with Organize with Helen. And so welcome, Helen.
Hi, thanks for
How
having
are
me.
you?
Oh, hanging in there.
Hanging in there. How's the fam doing?
Everyone's surviving, we're
Yeah.
surviving. It's so nice of you to check in on your organized friends. I really like that piece. It's it's spot on, because those of us who like our if, to be quite honest, if all of us who tend to be a little more organized, we like structure because it gives us control. So
Yeah.
there's a little like mind twist on that.
Yeah.
It's that it works in our benefit, but in reality, it's also a little twisted side. So yeah, when
But it
life
works.
is out of control and then we're like,
Yes.
what do we do?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're so right. You're so right.
So tell me, Helen, how did you get into this whole organization, organizing everything to the point where you have your own company? And I know you travel back and forth from Texas to Missouri. Give me some history on that.
Basically, a friend pulled me into it. I had just had my youngest and was staying home, and she knew that I had a propensity for interior decorating, but I also had a background in counseling. And so this other organizing company pulled me on to furnish an apartment actually for a client they were organizing for. And then I just was like, well, this is kind of fun. And then I started organizing with them, and that company folded, and I just decided, I'm like, I think I want to do this more than counseling. I enjoy it a
Wow.
lot more. I feel like I actually really get to help people, and you see quick results as opposed to, the therapeutic process. So,
Yeah.
I've just, it's just kind of taken off from there. And so my own weird mental disposition for organization, but also it really is about that person more than the stuff. And so that's
Okay.
been something that I feel like has kind of helped build my approach and how I help people.
You do. You have such a unique approach when it comes to organizing. And the things that, I mean, I don't think there's anything you don't organize or can't organize, which to me is so creative. And so in this crisis that we did not sign up for, Helen,
Mhm.
okay, this COVID-19 situation, are the rules changing, or do the rules change when it comes to being organized?
So the rules of like how to, I would say, don't necessarily actually change. But when it comes to like the reality of like there, I see a lot of pressure on Instagram, and it may be that I follow a lot of type A organizer people, but there's this big push that, you know, you and it should come out of this with like an extra degree and like all of these things accomplished, which is like, we're in crisis, so that's not normal. And if you do that, then you need therapy just as much as I do too, because then you were running from something, you know, like it's
Yes.
just not normal.
Yeah.
So when we're in crisis, we're not really able to make sound decisions on things, and really organizing. Sorry if you hear little doggy jangles, my dog's in here.
Oh,
Um,
sweet, sweet.
Getting organized is a chain of decisions, and it's one decision after another. And so when we're stressed out, sound decision making is actually really difficult. Like basic decisions can be really challenging. So imagine then trying to go into a space, and this is typically probably people feel like those rooms that have been sitting there for a really long time, like, well, man, I should probably be doing it because my excuse was, oh, you know, I don't have the time, but here we
Right.
are, you know,
Yeah.
that's never been the reason why you haven't done it. It's because it's really hard decision wise, and it can be emotionally loaded and it can be decision loaded. So I've been telling people that, you know, take it small, like we can, which is typically what I tell people anyways when they organize on their own, but don't feel pressure. If you feel like you're supposed to be addressing a space out of some should, you know, not some, or for an extrinsic reason, then don't push yourself there. Or take it in really, really small bites. I think I said, we had another call this morning. I actually said, you know, this is lower our expectations, like set an expectation
Yeah.
that's lower than your normal. This is what I've been doing for myself, basically. I got to keep myself settled down to be like, it's okay that I, you know, don't have a second degree now. So, you know, set a lower expectation and lower it again. And you know what, then you might find a sweet spot. And some days, like, it's okay to just maybe really just veg, you know. You got to really, this is a time to be more self-aware than spatially, you know, dabbling in things. So I don't know, that's long answer to what you
No,
asked.
that was really good, because in that, first of all, to me, I heard give yourself grace, you
Lots.
know, and if you want to go ahead and tackle something, it's okay, but be balanced, right? You want to be balanced, because if it starts stressing you out, maybe that is not the project for you right now. We have a lot
Exactly.
of stressors right now. Would
Yep.
you agree with that?
Oh, many.
Okay.
Now, being in an unknown environment, which is really what we're in,
Yes.
and out of schedule, even though we're starting to probably create some new normals, but being out of that schedule is really brutal. So absolutely.
And so I've heard that when you organize, it clears the mind. And when you see clutter, you have clutter, that means that your mind is cluttered. Speak to me on that. Is that true?
Yes and no. It
Okay.
really depends on the person because everyone has a different tolerance level for clutter. Some people really, you know, so my husband's usually, this is actually his office because I'm closer to the router. So I had to
Okay.
kind of fix it. Hence the Japanese books. I don't speak Japanese. That's his wheelhouse. So he works really well with a little. I would call it a lot. He can do well with piles. He does really know. He can find his stuff like that. He's
Okay.
not tripping over things, you know, so it's not impeding the ability to work, but there's clutter and stuff everywhere. He's okay with that. When I have my workspace, everything kind of, this is the like kind of, you know, crazy side of like everything needs its place and then I can focus on the task at hand. So it
Okay.
really depends on where you fall in that line of stuff. The challenge comes is when you share a house with someone else and you're on different, you know, planes with that. So that's where a lot of compromise comes in. So, you know, it depends. If you're not able to live your life, you need to be able to like clean your dishes. There are certain day-to-day life functions that need to continue on. But, you know, these perfect spaces that we see on Instagram are so similar to the, model bodies we see all over magazines. They're unrealistic. Most of us don't live like that. Well, we live in our homes. Like no one lives like that. Even with a housekeeper, I'm sure it may not look like that. So, just kind of keeping all of that in check with reality. And then when we're all home more often, there's lots of people possibly, dealing with spaces. It's going to look it's not going to be pleasant for the type A's and those of us who like everything to be orderly, because it's just not going to happen. So creating like little times during the day, to scheduling times of these, what I usually do at one time a day was like a 10-minute tidy, but now it really might be doing 2 or 3 a day where it's scheduled. Everyone just stops what they're doing and you put stuff back where it belongs, rather than, letting it all snowball. But it can kind of help keep it in check. But the reality is it's going to be a little crazy.
I love that. So you're saying throughout the day, just have a 10-minute, everyone just look around. You have your own room, that you have to be responsible for, and tidy. Oh man.
Just put stuff back if it has a home, or hopefully in a region where it belongs. So if you're doing this throughout the day, you're not creating a big event, right? So the snowball, you're kind of reducing how big that snowball can be. The snowball may still start to build, but this is probably, so really, remember, we're in survival mode. So that's kind of where we start changing the strategies of what I would say in regular day-to-day life, where we can set up a system where we have a predictability of what life, we have predictable health to an extent, we don't have any of that right now. I mean, we don't even know what we're going to get in the grocery store. So, taking all of that is just kind of, all right, well, let's do the best we can, set an expectation that's reasonable for everyone, but, we got to kind of relax a little, especially I'm pointing to people like speaking to me. So is it really it is. I have to be like, I gotta calm down.
So
it doesn't
I
need
need
to be perfect.
To be checking on you too. I didn't think about that.
I've been trying to behave myself with it.
Okay.
I think I'm okay. Right now I'm okay.
Okay.
You have like I'll have a bad morning where you just feel like, I can't do anything, and I'm letting myself, relax or read or do something that I feel like is building, and then I do have things that I would love to accomplish.
Yeah.
And when I feel motivated, I jump on that, and I do it as long as I feel good about it. And then when I don't, I stop, so.
And that's what I was going to say, because that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't stressed about anything like that. If I feel like today is the day I'm going to knock out something, one of the different rooms, then I do it. And then I only do it for as long as I have that feeling. As soon as that feeling's gone, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I may come back 3 or 4 days, a week later, and I have really just settled in my mind, it is okay. So with that said, because I have some projects all over, and normally I totally would have been like, okay, this needs to be done now. This needs to be, oh my gosh, I'm bad. Oh my gosh, I'm just horrible. So what would be some easy, different activities or different things that we could do around the house that's not going to be too stressful, but still will make us feel like we've accomplished something around the house?
Like you can tackle a single drawer, a single cabinet, and really, or a single small spot. Or you can or consider not doing necessarily a space, but setting a timer to sort through and at least pull out things that don't belong there. Or, get rid of the trash. Junk drawers are really pretty easy because they're usually full, and that can be overwhelming too. But if you pull everything out and sort it by like kind, you'll start to be like, why is this in my kitchen? This doesn't belong here. So it leaves, or this is, a bouncy ball my kids got it from a birthday party. I'm going to throw it in the trash before they see, like there's those kind of little things easy. And then, that can feel really good, especially if it's an area that you're seeing regularly, like maybe one of your bathroom drawers, go through maybe old hygiene products, that can be a 15-20 minute project. Then, maybe sort through your makeup. Makeup definitely has a shelf life. It can cause all kinds of bacterial growth too. So there's little things like break it down. Think about the smallest you can make it. And then, maybe, setting something like, once a day or once every other day, considering
Right.
doing it. And if you don't feel like it, then don't, because it is still a lot of decisions, and you're not going to, if you can't make sound decisions on stuff, it's not a good time to try and tackle that stuff. So
Yeah.
emotionally loaded areas can be tricky. If you suddenly feel motivated though, then run with it. So sometimes with, this situation, what has happened to me is, I feel like I already have a good handle on what I feel like is really important, but then things like this happen, and then it kind of is another check where you're like, wow, you suddenly have perspective that you didn't have before. So if that does motivate you to maybe start, sorting through some, family memorabilia, and it's not going to take you totally, down to being depressed,
Right.
then run with it. So, because there could be some people who do feel suddenly really motivated to do some really tough areas.
Okay.
Just know they are emotionally loaded, and to just go with it. Feel
Yeah.
the emotion, like recognize it, and you can take a break or you can keep going.
Yeah.
But any type of sentimental area stuff could be really. I've seen people who enjoy it too, because it's kind of fun. You're going,
Yeah.
it can be good to go through memory lane too.
Yes.
Don't keep memorabilia that has bad memories, though. That's the one thing I tell people, like,
Throw it away.
why are you holding on to this? This is not happy, like this, no,
Yeah.
so free yourself of that bad stuff,
Yeah.
or clothes that you wouldn't want your ex to ever see you in or something.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Like, those
Yeah.
little kind of fun things that kind of are like, oh yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that. So small projects, or set a timer for 20-30 minutes, something reasonable but not too long, can probably be the best way to go, and really making it more of what doesn't belong here, and putting things in those spaces they belong, that they are being used in or accessed in, is where they go, like those zones. So that's what I would suggest first and foremost. Next, I usually tell people they need a system. So, everything needs a home. But see, we're adding more decisions here, right? So you had to make all the decisions on what to keep,
Yeah.
and then where does it go? Does it belong here? And then, how do we store it so I can access it long term? And really, that's a matter of, my example is the kindergarten classroom. There were zones for everything, and it was an activity zone that happened there. So you set your house up in like a kindergarten style classroom kind of thing. So, like in the kitchen, I feel like most kids, or at least in my house even, they do their homework at the kitchen table. One, I want to see their computers. But, homework zone is there. So I have a little like 3-tier rolling cart that has crafty stuff and also like homework stuff that can be within that zone. So that is homework. Kitchen is also homework zone. It's not just cooking and family time and eating, so you got to kind of think about all the activities that happen in different rooms, and then the supplies that belong with that go in those spaces, preferably.
Oh, wow. And you just made me realize this actually could be fun and family oriented, because we're
Yep.
doing a lot with family, and there's some activities, because I know that when you're talking about the photos, we can go down memory lane with the good photos, right? Ones
Yeah.
that we have looked through and they're good, because I've thrown some away since that interview. But that can be fun. And I know I've seen on some social media platforms where it's clear that they are going through different photos and they're posting them. And so we see
Yeah.
people back in 1972 with the big collar. And I'm like, okay, they're having a good time.
Yep.
So it can be fun.
Yep.
While organizing.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh, I think it's fun. So, but I don't know if everyone does.
Of
I
course.
think it's so much fun, but that's also, it makes me a little strange. So.
Well, no, trust me. I'm telling you, this has definitely been a topic of discussion for my friends. And so, one last insight, Helen, can you give to our listening audience about organizing, and especially during this time of COVID-19? What would that be?
Really, what it would be is to take it easy on yourself. I liked your grace. I think grace would be like the theme, if you had like a chapter, word for it. I really liked that. I hadn't actually accessed that word yet, but it is to give yourself grace with this, and to not push yourself too hard, or to feel like there are all these shoulds and oughts that you're supposed to be doing with this. If this had been a week of vacation, a staycation that I had decided I was going to organize my entire house, or you were, then I would hold you accountable to that. I'd be like, yeah, but this is not, we're in crisis. So no,
Yeah.
just give yourself so much grace and just take it one small bite at a time, when you're hungry, when you're actually like into it, when it
Yeah.
sounds good.
That's wonderful. Now, if they want to contact you, can they contact you virtually? Can you help people virtually? Give me that information.
Yeah. So if you go to my website, organizedbyhelen.com, also on Instagram and Facebook at organizedbyhelen, you can reach out. I do offer virtual organizing programs. So I'll give you a very structured list as the steps you need to take. I'll even sketch out the areas if you do need supplies or want to have the budget for it, to let you know what can go there. I can also tell you things you can substitute in your own home. So I can walk you through the entire thing and coach you, hold your hand virtually, and help you achieve those goals. And it does cost a whole lot less than having us in person. So
Yeah,
if you want that help and support, it is there and it does work. You do
it
need to
does.
have the motivation for it though. So as my own, if it's something that you feel like you've struggled with all your life, it may be a little bit slow go, is always what I tell people. But
Yeah.
if you're highly motivated and you can make decisions pretty easily, it's a really great fit.
And I think too, at this point, having you as a support system definitely is a difference maker than just
Oh
trying
yeah.
to do it on your own. So you guys definitely reach out to her. She has a proven track record, and I'm telling you, she's made me think differently, more creatively, and not so much pressure with my own organization skills that I thought were top notch. And then I was like, okay, that's why she's organized by Helen. And I'm just Latrese, insights with Latrese.
No.
So I want to thank you, Helen. Blessings to you and your
Thank
family.
you.
Stay
You too.
safe. And just we'll get through this.
We will. Oh, we
Not
will.
gonna last forever. And
Yep.
to you guys listening, let me just tell you this. Here's my insight on organization. We didn't choose COVID-19. We didn't choose to be in this crisis. This is not normal. And so, just like we said earlier, we have to make those adjustments. And it's okay. It's okay. Helen said, if you're in bed all day watching Netflix, so what? Whatever. However, if you somehow get some energy, get some wherewithal where you say, you know what? I want to accomplish this or that today, go for it. But the one thing I want you to remember, don't stress yourself out. We have too many stressors as it is. Take this one day at a time, one moment at a time. But more than anything, have fun with organizing and make it enjoyable, right? And if today is not your day, let's just look for tomorrow. Okay. I hope this was a blessing to you. I can now call all my friends and say, hey, you got some good information from Organized by Helen. Again, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Insights with Latrese. And don't forget the three reels: real good, real you, and real talk. Have a great day.